Hi, hello, my name is Mars. Kate from Redemption DAO and Tokens Engineering approached me, but because I have such a busy lifestyle, festivals, travel, kids, family, we cannot arrange a proper timing. That's why I just thought, let me record a short video where I explain who am I, what I do, what is the project, how does it work. So this is my home website. I have a couple of projects going on, but the BaseX.com new definition of value is on top of the list. This is my primary project. Another one is a network state genesis. I try to capitalize on the NFT wave and also the Balaji, how to start a new country. So I'm selling passports to my new country, and also the Planetary Council, which is the replacement for United Nations. They did a great job by not doing all out World War III, but now we have a de facto New World Order. So these are three projects I'm focusing energy. BaseX is the first one, and this domain was quite expensive, but it shows the commitment. It is like a proof of commitment. How do you prove that you are committed? You get a domain that is worth a couple $1,000s. So here is the website, very simple landing page. I'm trying to explain in a few words, few sentences, what this is all about. Beyond GDP, new definition of value, triple bottom line. And this is not just me who, I am the smartest guy in the world, I figured it out. No, it is something that has been coming through me through different channels. I will actually show you the deck. This is something I was presenting. Here's the date today, 20 August, 16 August. This is the freshest deck. I am applying for a grant, and that's why I was like adding some extra finishing touches. Here is the slide about me. I was to a couple of COP conferences. I was to Davos World Economic Forum, and here is what they say beyond the GDP, that if we focus on the GDP alone, then old dying people in hospital is great for the economy because of the high medical bills. Addiction is actually the great business model because people are consuming more and more substance, whether it is alcohol, sugar, unhealthy food, additives. And here is the another proof, like G20, the 19 countries plus EU, they have the tagline people, planet, prosperity. And until recently there was a problem, how do you measure it, how do you figure it out? I've actually observed the world. And as I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm just observing the reality coming through me through a number of experiences. So the amount of satellites on the orbit, the amount of sensing capabilities is growing exponentially. The AI capabilities, like this Wally, the Mid Journey, these AI generated images, like 3 years ago, that was really unbelievable. We have the blockchain, like if you are in the tokens engineering, you know how blockchain space is evolving, how the tokenomics is allowed to do incentives, and these guys are, fact checking other guys. There's such an amount of impact funding available, and of course the timing that now everyone is aware of the climate change. So what I do at BaseX is the new definition of value based on these principles. This idea 5 years ago, utterly impossible. The timing not right, technology not there. 2022, holy fucking shit, this is the right thing to do. And my first approach was to evaluate Fortune 500 ESG, environmental social governance, because this is just like marketing, PR, greenwashing. It is unregulated. They just put any data, whatever, no one cares. Well, I care because the biggest companies on the planet are responsible for the most amount of CO2 emissions. So actually this is the reason number one. They are regulated by SEC, Financial Conduct Authority. They are regulated to a certain extent, but we've planted 100 trees. But this statement, we planted 100 trees, means nothing, because have these trees survived? Or you've cut 17 million trees by extracting oil. So you planting 100 trees is completely out of context. So you get the point. Of course, private sector has the operational capacity. I want guys like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos use like a Amazon fulfillment center, this type of automation to do climate regeneration projects, not just bunch of dirty hippies who live in the forest, but actually using private sector efficiency to do geoengineering at a large scale. So this is why I approach Fortune 500 first. However, there is also a second approach of co-benefits, quantifying co-benefits of different environmental projects. Because if there is, again, a bunch of dirty hippies living in the forest, and what is the value of it? Well, they do not generate any GDP. They eat local produce from a farmer. So maybe they've spent $5 per day on eggs from a local farmer, and they are not good for the economy. And what is the value of a healthy ecosystem, fresh air and fresh water? And you can quantify it, because fresh water means less disease, no air pollution means no lung cancer. You can try to quantify what is the value of a good health. Well, what is the value of having not a good health? What is the negative value of being depressed, miserable, low engagement at work? Like, there are some studies trying to quantify it, but we do not have one unified metric how to quantify a value. So that's why I do what I do. This is a big freaking problem. This is the problem as big as the World Economic Forum. This is problem as big as G20. This is problem as big as climate change on the whole. So in terms of the methodology, this is the proposed workflow. It is not fully implemented yet. I will show you what I've got. Okay, this is like a wiki page where I will share into description. This is the demo. It is on the Gerli testnet, so I need to go to Gerli testnet and reload. So what we have here, we have this is like little disclaimer, like this is still a beta, alpha. This is very early. We have a list of organizations, and I put some notable organizations on the list, like big oil companies. You can add a new one, should work. We have reports. Of course, you can add a new report, upload to IPFS. It's pretty basic, but then you can try to evaluate the Shell sustainability report. Of course, first we should actually read it, right? You should actually analyze it. And yeah, of course, they are super like this, like no greens. This is exactly the greenwashing, this type of imaginary. But yeah, this looks like a proper, I don't know. I do not know. So I will just say, let's evaluate. Actually, I actually do not know, honestly, because I didn't read it. It is just a test for demo recording. Boom. Here I can also evaluate for each specific SDG. Yeah, lobbying works. Boom. That should open MetaMask window, and now I've added the evaluation of the Shell report, but I didn't actually read it. And now what should happen? I'll go back to the slides. Multiple independent assessments. I am just one data point, and I don't know. But then after a certain period of time, say 10 days or 2 weeks or 1 month, we come together and we put all existing evaluations into a one unified. So then there will be a question asked, is this collective evaluation reasonable? And those who provided unreasonable assessments will be penalized, and those who are falling, they were reasonable. You never know whether it was 3 million or 3.5. You never know what is the value of the forest. But as long as you put some effort, then the question is your assessment reasonable? You can argue that my assessment, when I put 0 and I said I don't know really, it's not reasonable, so I would get penalized. So that is how we come up with the unified number. Then in the future, if there is a new fact that coming into light that actually they were doing something behind the stage, they didn't tell the truth, we can issue negative tokens, because for doing value positive, you get value positive, and for doing stuff negative, you receive negative tokens. And then say Shell or Exxon, let's say that they are bad people, I'm not judgmental, but they are, I would say, can buy these good tokens from the environmental organizations that are actually doing a good job. And the same applies to evaluators, that me, for doing a good job, I receive the reward. And then if we need to get extra data, we can send someone on the ground. Like, we do not know exactly what is happening in that particular field. We can either send a satellite, which should be super cheap, or we can even hire from community, from crowdsourcing. There could be like a marketplace. Hey, here is a list of all the locations where we need to send a human. And me personally, I will be not flying to Kenya to send a few pictures. I will pay the local, say $10, so they can buy some petrol, hop on a motorbike, go to this plantation of bananas and take a few pictures, right? This is a fair value exchange, because this plantation claims, say, $1,000 in value, but so I can spend 1% to send someone local to provide data. So this is proposed workflow in a nutshell. And when you actually look at the demo, it is such a MVP that I didn't implement the displaying of the data yet. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on, couple threads in parallel. One of them is pitching and fundraising. Here is the grant. If this grant works out, then my first action is reach out to these guys, who is they are building products, and these guys are also building products. I'm realizing I'm better at other things that are not just strictly development, and working deep dive in the code is a different skill than going on a podcast and talking about stuff. So I'm just realizing, actually, I need to have a team, and that's why I'm talking to you, tokens engineering. If you can provide me some genuine assessment, feedback, working together, we should totally have another call, because this is just intro. This is just me sharing some stuff with you right now. So this is a great partnership potential. We have a Toucan, which is the tokenized carbon credits on the blockchain. We have Coinbase, that is cool. We have me, which is BaseX. We have these guys who are dev team. We have Kleros, which is the decentralized justice arbitration. And they basically they figure out you do not need to be a PhD in climate science to fact check basic data and do open source research. Like to evaluate certain reports, yes, of course, it helps to have some background, but a lot of disputes and fact checking are on the basis, hey, in the 97 you provided data this, but now in 98 it improved by 173%. So this data doesn't add up. We actually want someone to fact check the fact checkers, okay? And I have some ties with them. I was part of their fellowship of justice long time ago. So I think that there is a massive potential for partnerships to get the support from tokens engineering to help me evaluate this proposed workflow. That phase one, multiple independent evaluations. Then phase two, we come up with a one assessment which is reasonable. And then, okay, this assessment is reasonable based on this individual data points. And then those individual evaluators who provide assessment close enough receive the reward, and those who are completely, made some mistakes or fraud or something, they receive the penalty. And because we have a concept of identity on a blockchain, which maybe it is not fully implemented right now, Saturday, 20th of August, but in terms of like a bright ID, proof of humanity, IDINA, like there will be at some point in the future a reputable way of doing identity on the blockchain. So when a company receives negative value, they cannot just create a new profile. And same applies with individual assessors. If someone is a fraudulent, we will find a way to penalize them, and they cannot just spin off 10,000 new accounts. So please book a call with me based on right now. I'm hoping that this little demo, high level overview, is helpful. About this actually demo, it's not the highest quality. I'm only mildly embarrassed by releasing it so soon, but as they say, if you are not embarrassed, you are releasing too late. My embarrassment is a bit. It is good enough to show you something that works. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Bye.